Okay, since my radio is full of lightning static tonight, there's no sense in going around the band. So I figured I'd look into another antenna that everyone likes. They call it the high gain super penetrator, but that's not its name. This is a factory sales manual. It's called the Penetrator or the Super CLR. It's not the Super Penetrator. It's not the Super Penetrator 500. The 500 comes from the model number. Model number 500. You can see the numbers on it right here. But before we jump all the way ahead, we have to go back to the past to find out where this came from. And in order to do that, we have to look at two different antennas. This was the original, the high gain collinear. They were one of the earliest gain antennas out there. Used to see a lot of them, but they all kind of disappeared from the rooftops. But that's okay, because they've been up there since the 1960s. So they've served their time. High Gain realized that they had problems with the base assembly on these, and they redesigned the base assembly a couple of times, and they had to add a DC ground to it. But they eventually gave up on it, and in October of 1963, they introduced this antenna, which was 16 feet. But take a look at the base assembly. Had a much improved base assembly, stronger, and had a solid state matching coil. So somebody at High Gain said, let's redesign the CLR and call it the CLR2. You can see where that comes from. That's early 1964. They came out with the CLR2. They were still making the original collinear, but they were getting away from it. And the CLR2, along with the Super Mag, were very popular and ruled the roost in the CB antenna world until 1972, when the new Penetrator Super CLR was introduced. And as they say, the legend was born. And this antenna is still available, and they still work as good as they did back in the day, because they're 22 feet, 5.5 inches long, I think it is. And so now you know where those antennas come from. Good history. One of the most expensive antennas, the Golden Collinear, $93 in 1964 was an awful lot of money. So they weren't all that popular. And it was called the Golden Collinear because it was gold iridized like a television antenna. And that gave it a much superior corrosion resistance. If you can find one of these antennas in your neighborhood, try to save it if at all possible. There's nothing like having a piece of history to operate a classic radio from. Okay, I think that's it for tonight.